Hey guys, it's Nailbiter, and I got another World of Tanks video here. This is the other Leopard prototype round that I wanted to post on my channel. It's another high damage round, and I also ended up getting Top Gun and Defender, so it's an all-around pretty good round. Although I still haven't got my ace tanker in this tank. I thought when I finished this round that this was going to be my ace tanker round, but I think I just barely didn't really get enough XP, so still searching for that mastery badge, and I'll probably end up posting that round, assuming that I do at some point get the mastery badge with this tank. Anyway, this round was on Sacred Valley, which is the new map that was released, I think, in the 8.6 patch. It's a Korean-themed map. It's supposed to take place in the Korean mountains, and it's an okay map. Not my favorite. It's a little bit too much camping, I think, in this map, especially in standard battle. It's a little better in encounter mode, which is, or this battle is an encounter mode battle, so I generally find that it's not as campy in encounter mode because the two teams spawn much closer together, and generally speaking, the fight in the north takes place a lot faster. Normally I like to almost always go to the south part of this map, on this hill, no matter which side I spawn on. If I spawn on the south, I generally try to spot kind of in the area where that 1375 was in front of me. And if I have support, sometimes I'll try to push up into this small town. And otherwise, I generally like to snipe from this hill if I spawn in the north and just try to get some spots. You'll often find TDs that are camping. There's a ridge that I'm sort of looking at on the other side of that bridge that you can see in front of me. And I'm being a little bit over-aggressive here. I'm just kind of poking out needlessly. Take a bad shot here trying to hit the T-29. And I think I'm lucky that I don't get shot by something else over there. So I'm being a little stupid at this point. And there, I actually do get shot, I think by the T-29. Although I'm able to get a pretty lucky shot back into him, so it wasn't a total waste of hit points. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, this is another high damage round. I end up getting around 7k damage again. Although I actually think this round is more compelling than the previous round that I posted with the Leopard prototype. If you watched that, it was on Redshire. It's a little more of an interesting battle, which you'll definitely see towards the end. It actually starts out sort of slow here, and I actually went AFK for about 30 seconds. So you can see me just sitting behind this building, which probably wasn't such a bad idea because I was being overly aggressive with my peeking the first couple minutes, so it's probably good to just step back and let the battle unfold a little bit, especially with this tank where you really just don't get any bounces at all. And actually, another thing worth mentioning about this tank that I don't think I talked about in the first video that I posted is it has a really, really weak ammo rack. I've found that if I get shot in the lower plate, I almost always get ammo racked. And so there have been multiple rounds where my ammo rack has been taken out and I repair it with a repair kit, and then it gets taken out like 30 seconds later. That's happened several times to me, and it's really can be very frustrating because of the fact that the reload is already fairly long on this tank, and so with a dead ammo rack, it just makes it really, really frustrating to play. I don't have safe stowage as one of the skills on my gunner, so that would probably help a little bit. And there I get a nice shot on the T-28. I'm able to set him on fire. But I think from what I've heard, the ammo rack on the Leopard prototype is just fairly weak, and that it's kind of like the E75 and its engine, where if you get penned in the lower plate, your engine almost always gets taken out, and you get set on fire pretty frequently. It's just one of those things with the German tanks, I guess. So at this point, things are not looking too good for this team. As you can see, I'm the only Tier 9 left, and there goes our low. So now it's just me and IS, a T-71 and a WZ-131, against 4 Tier 9 tanks on the enemy team. Although I will say that I do think I have at this point a better strategic position. This hill is really, really a great spot for sniping. And as I mentioned, if you watched the previous video, the Leopard prototype is really a sniping tank. That's what it excels at. And so I'm actually lucky that this IS that was in front of me here is able to spot some of the tier 9s that are down in that village town area, and he's actually able to survive long enough for me to get a couple shots into them. I get another nice shot on the T-54E1 where I set him on fire, so that's 2 tanks that I set on fire in this round. And there goes the WZ-131, so now it's 3 against 6. And I really wanted to get a kill shot on this Leopard prototype, but it's just tough to find a good shot when there are tanks in those buildings in the village. There's actually one other thing that I do find sort of frustrating about this map, is that it's just, there are buildings everywhere and trees everywhere, and all of it is destructible, but it just means that it's hard to really get good angles on enemies and take reliable positions where you can watch a flank, because it's easy for the enemy tanks to just get cover behind some of those houses. So now it's 2 against 6. The IS got killed, and the enemy is starting to cap now. And so since the IS got killed and I don't have anybody to spot for me over there to the north, I decided to turn around and just back off a little bit. Try to reassess the situation. Since I only see there's 1 enemy tank on the cap, I'm not too worried about that at this point. The T-71 on my team has also gone onto the opposite side of the map, which at the time was kind of frustrating me, but he ends up being really helpful towards the end of this round. And so I decided to just sort of wait and at least give him a chance to get back towards this side of the map so that we can at least have a bit of a chance on this round. I mean, obviously the situation isn't good at this point. And there I get spotted, my 6th sense goes off. So I'm pretty sure it's whoever spotted me is somewhere in front of me coming from the north. So I get behind this rock, and sure enough there I spot the Leopard prototype. And I'm able to take him out there. I almost blocked my own shot there with the backed up, and my line of sight was blocked a little bit by one of those statues. So now I'm trying to avoid the IS-8 shot with this rock, or by traversing around this rock, although he does get a shot into me. The IS-8 is pretty mobile, so it's harder for me to just outmaneuver him. Thankfully he's at low hit points, and with the really good pen of this gun I don't have to worry too much about getting damage on him, especially since the IS-8's armor is pretty weak. And so we just trade shots, and that leaves me with about 400 hit points, which isn't a ton, but it's enough that I'm willing to take a bit of a risk to reset the cap. Obviously now there are 3 enemies on the cap, and I don't have much time to reset. And there, just before the enemy captures our base, the T-71 spots the guys on the cap, and I'm able to shoot the IS-3 to reset the cap points. There I get a shot in the Tiger II, and only there I got spotted. I actually didn't get spotted when I first shot the IS-3, so I'm actually in a pretty good spot where I'm there's enough bushes and trees over here to camo me up a little bit. The enemy team really didn't play this very well. First of all, the Leopard prototype and the IS-8 attacked me one at a time, so I was able to deal with them individually. And now at this point, I mean, the enemy team should really figure out that they're just getting torn apart, and they're not even really able to shoot back as the T-71 takes out the T-28. And so they probably should have either gotten off the cap, or I mean, probably pushed us, because I mean, at this point they're just letting me pick them off as the T-71 is spotting. And there I get the kill on the Tiger II, and now it's just the IS-3 left on the cap and their artillery somewhere, probably I'm thinking in the southwest. I get spotted here again as the IS-3's turret, I think, is just poking up over that rock, and I move forward and there an artillery shell lands just behind me, so I was thankful that I decided to move forward a little bit. That would have been really frustrating to get killed by artillery at this point in the game. I'm taking my time here because I don't want to make a stupid decision at this point after having already taken out 4 tanks in a 2 vs 6 situation. And so I just want to be sure that I make a calculated decision in going after this IS-3. I decided to flank around him here, since my guess is that he's more focused at this point on the T-71 that's to my right. And I was hoping I wouldn't get spotted as I passed by here, but as you'll see, I get spotted there, my 6th sense goes off. And I can see him looking at me, so I back off and wait behind this rock. I'm just gonna keep going back and forth, and there another artillery shell lands. So that's why you always want to, if there's artillery still alive, you want to be mobile, and you don't want to just stand still and give them an easy shot. And so there, the IS-3, I saw him turning his turret, and so that was just a green light for me to go ahead and get the kill shot. And so there's my top gun. Pretty sure this was actually the first top gun I got in this tank as well. And that T-71 really did a great job spotting there at the end. He was really helpful. I don't think I could have won this round without him. And so now it's just a matter of finding this artillery. We still do have about 4 minutes left in the round, so at worst comes to worst, I could always get on the cab if I had to, and if we couldn't find him. But I'm pretty sure he's somewhere in this corner, so it's just a matter of getting him spotted. And the Leopard prototype and their team is frustrated by his team's actions. They really, the enemy team made the mistake of not going after me all at once. Although, to be fair, I was in a pretty strong strategic position where it would have been hard for them to coordinate a good attack on me, especially since a few of their tanks were fairly slow, like the T-28 and Tiger II. But anyway, there's the end of the round. The T-71 gets the kill on the GW Tiger. And there are the post-game stats. I end up with about 1200 XP. I get Defender and Top Gun, and just under 7,000 damage again. So a really nice round. Not quite enough for Ace Tanker. I'm hoping I can get that at some point. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.